Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of Making Things Fun, Cool, and Sexy. I'm your host, Christine Hollino, and today we're diving into the future of manufacturing with Siemens and their groundbreaking work in industrial AI.
Technology is the most powerful tool humanity has. With technology, we can build a digital blueprint for a better world, where AI-enabled smart grids accelerate the energy transition, and the products we buy exceed our increasing expectations. Where electrified transportation is not only sustainable, but also efficient, consistent, resilient. Where buildings self-optimize. Healthcare is personalized. And the next big idea is just one leap away. This is what's possible when data combines with advanced technologies to reveal industrial insights. And those insights enable us to decarbonize our communities. It's the promise of software-defined machines that adapt to ever-changing conditions and give us ever better goods. Robots that pick and pack with human-like precision. And co-pilots who understand and advise. So humans are free to do the work that only humans can do. It's the power of industrial AI, fundamentally transforming the way we commute, consume, create, play, work. It is the impact of Siemens, our ecosystem of partners, our customers, together using the best of digital innovation to create a better real world today and for every day that follows. This is technology to transform the everyday for everyone.
At CES, I had the incredible opportunity to speak with Tony Hemmelgarn, President and CEO of Siemens Digital Industry Software, about how Siemens is revolutionizing manufacturing through artificial intelligence. Siemens is leading the way in integrating AI into industrial processes, creating smart factories that are more efficient and adaptive. I had the privilege of sitting down with Tony to discuss how Siemens is pushing the boundaries of industrial AI. Let's dive into our conversation and hear firsthand how Siemens is shaping the future of smart manufacturing. Hi friends, yes, we're at CES and I'm here at Siemens in front of CEO and President of Siemens Software Department, Tony. Tony, it is such a pleasure to have you here, or to be here with you.
Thanks for coming.
Yes, I had the privilege to sit in on your press release for media at CES, and my mind was blown. You guys revealed industrial AI. Can you share a little bit about industrial AI?
Sure. What we mean by that is, there's lots of things happening today, like co-pilots that assist you and help you and so forth. And what we've done at Siemens is really try to focus it on industrial use cases with industrial data that's there. And we talk about the prerequisites of making that work, right? So, for instance, if you're going to run a factory, you want to make sure you have a digital twin of that factory. What do I mean by a digital twin? It's how close we can make the virtual world and the real world come together. The closer we can make that relationship, the more value it is to our customers. So it can be true for the factory, for the product, or whatever. So I want to show, for example, in the product, the mechanical design, the electronics, the software, how all these things interact in a virtual way. But I also want to look at the factory and say, I've got manufacturing engineering, manufacturing planning, I've got execution in the factory, the automation of the factory. If I can simulate those things, then I can start to understand how things will react when I make changes or whatever in the virtual way. And if you've got all that, and then you've got data, I can use that data to create AI use cases. So for example, I could go into a factory, fly through the factory, almost like a gaming engine. I go where I want to go, and I can gather all the information that's happening in that factory real time as to what's going on. And then I might come in the morning and say, hey, what happened in the factory last night? Oh, we had a robot fail. Which robot? And I'm asking this just in natural language.
Wow.
Right? And then it comes back and says, okay, it was this robot. And I say, okay, what was the operational effectiveness of that particular robot? By the way, how many more do I have like that in the factory? How many have had similar concerns about the operational effectiveness that they have to think about? And then it may be that I say, well, look, I'm not going to be able to get that robot up and running as quickly as I thought. So help me replan the factory. To replan the factory, you have to come back to your digital twin. So we say, let's move it around and let's simulate. Can we make this thing work? Once it's working, then we say go and do it in the real world. And so what I'm trying to say is industrial AI is using all that data and the knowledge, but applying it back to the digital twin. Oftentimes you hear people talk about AI, they don't have a digital twin. Well, then all it is a bunch of information that I could maybe theorize about, but I need to prove it out with physics to show, can I run that robot? Is it going to move? Is it going to do what I expect it to do? Can it lift the load that I have? All those types of things are part of what we think about with industrial AI.
Wow. So I had shared with you that I run my family's machine shop. We're actually we're about to expand into a larger building, right? So this sounds like exactly what we would need. Like if we had a digital twin of the new facility,
Sure.
And we could kind of plan out, okay, we'll put this CNC here, we'll put our lathes here, our 5-axis here. You're telling me that we could virtually go in and create this floor plan, test it out in the virtual world. If it works out, we could duplicate this in the physical world.
Right, and it's continuous, right? I mean, it's not a one-time event. You set it up and then you want to keep, as your factory evolves, as your machine shop evolves, or you might add equipment, you might change equipment out, you got different things you're machining. You still want to simulate all of that and make sure you can do what you want to do.
That's incredible. I know that you've partnered with large companies and large manufacturers, large OEMs, of course, would use Siemens. How about on the smaller scale for small and medium manufacturers?
Yeah, so it's always cool to talk about the big guys and all the great things they do with us, but I would say 40% of our customer base is small to medium-sized businesses that we deal with all the time. And what's changing there a lot over the last few years is what's happened with software in general is going to software as a service, right? So you don't have a big capital outlay. I run the system for you, I manage it, I do everything. You just use it and you pay me for the usage. It gives you flexibility. You can go up and down with as you add people, or if you slow things down, you could slow down. But also, you don't have to have all the expertise to be able to run it and have all that big capital outlay up front, right? And so we can take it to very small customers as well. But what's unique about us at Siemens is if you start small and you do grow, we're not creating this revolution for you every time you want to go to the next phase, right? Where sometimes you buy a product that works really well when you're small, and then as you get larger, it's like, oh, I have to migrate the data, I've got to go to a different tool. We kind of have a continuous path. We try to make sure there's zero interruption of that as you go forward to be able to go up and down. So we have really tried to focus and make sure our solutions can work at all sizes of companies and how they work.
That's awesome. So now that we're talking about large companies and large manufacturers, what I'm seeing, like some trends and some stuff that I've been hearing are like these larger manufacturers, they are building out machine shops internally, right? They want to have control over everything. Hence, like maybe not needing to use 100 different suppliers to get whatever parts they need.
Sure.
Do you see that there is a trend right now where larger manufacturers want to build out an internal machine shop and make things themselves?
Well, I think we see a mixture of things, right? Sometimes there's startups that say, look, I'm just developing the product, I'm going to outsource all my manufacturing, and so they may not care as much. Having said that, they still need a relationship between what they're doing with that manufacturing company, because you want to simulate it even though maybe it's not yours. You want to make sure that you can do everything you want to do in the manufacturing case, right? But you're right, many companies are reshoring, bringing manufacturing back because they want to make sure they can get to market faster with what they're doing, and they can integrate it much closer together to be able to simulate and so forth. The challenge is because I've had many of my uncles were tool and die guys, right? A lot of that's gone because it was offshored or whatever. So now you bring it back, who do you go to? And that's one of the really cool things about AI is I kind of call it the great equalizer, because if I got all the knowledge in your company, augmented with the knowledge that we know about our software and our tools and the usage of our tools, it could be that new person that comes into the company can use co-pilots and assist type tools that bring all that knowledge from the past to know, hey, this is the thing you have to think about. Be careful here. You're holding this tolerance too tight. You don't need to do that. These types of things, right? With that knowledge. And I think that's the value that AI eventually brings to all of us. And some of that we're seeing already today, but that's today. Roll it forward 5 years, I think we'll all be surprised how much AI is contributing to these things to help our customers to be able to take that knowledge and bring it forward, right? In
Yes.
what you're doing.
I mean, that is so disruptive because for our industry, like machining, hiring a really good programmer is so difficult. And a lot of machinists have retired or are retiring. All of that tribal knowledge will be gone, right? And so we have a younger programmer, and we push him to his limits of like, how can we make this? And he's great at it. Although if there was AI to help us, do some DFM work and show us like, this is the best way to machine this part, right? Like do this XYZ. I mean, that would be so disruptive.
It's funny you say that. Many years ago when I was going through school, whatever, I remember taking a class in CNC machining, and there was an older machinist that was teaching the class, right? And he says, I'm going to teach you today something that is so important that anything else you learn doesn't matter unless you get this right. It's called tramming a CNC machine. And basically it's making sure that your spindle is perpendicular to the table. And he said, if you can't do that, nothing else matters because your tolerances are all messed up and everything else. So I tease my team. We have, we've probably got, 26,000 employees in our software group today. And I tease the guys doing this that are much younger and developing our software. I said, I can tram a CNC machine. Can you? Right? And they laugh. They don't know, right? And so those are just simple things of knowledge that you would bring forward, right? Now, we have always had a product called Team Center that we can capture all of these documents and other types of things. So we've always taken great pride in saying that we will capture the knowledge of those people that have worked in your organization. The problem was it was hidden in all the documents. You couldn't always find it easily, right? With AI, I can build models that go through all that data, gather it into a large language model that we're using, and suddenly now it's not hidden, and I can go make decisions. But the other part of that is with AI today, you have something called an hallucination effect, meaning about 6% of the time, the answer is just not right because it went into a bad direction, right? So what we show is that when we give you an answer, we show with Team Center, our document management and tool that we do all this, is not only do we give you the answer, we show the source of the data where it came from, and we show the relationships between all the documents, so you can kind of assure yourself that, hey, this isn't a crazy answer. This is based in the knowledge of what I know as my company. It's not hallucination. It's real data that came in through what we're doing. Wow. So we want to guarantee that that's there. So my point to all this is, it's not new to gather data and reserve it and store it all. What's new is to be able to traverse it so quickly and be able to bring all that knowledge right away to a user. And that's what the AI part's bringing to us today.
Oh, that's incredible. I wanted to ask you, like, where do you foresee manufacturing in 5 to 10 years? But it sounds like AI can even make very disruptive changes in less than 5 years.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I get people saying, was AI overhyped? And I think about certain things I think have been overhyped for a while. So for example, when additive manufacturing, 3D printing first came out, all these people were writing articles and it was kind of foolish. They're saying, well, if you break your coffee cup, you're not going to run to Walmart and get a new coffee cup. You're going to print it at home. And it was like, well, no, not really. Yeah. And then it was about jewelry production, all this kind of stuff, right? So it was way overhyped, and then it went down.
Correct.
But what's really sad now is we see so much tremendous capability with additive that's really starting to take off with our customers. And now no one's writing about it anymore because it's not as cool as it was. So it was overhyped.
Yes.
IoT was way overhyped early on, right? Both of those technologies are still coming, and they will be very, very important. IoT has to be there for us to do all the things that people want to do in the future. So then I think about AI. The reason I don't think it's overhyped is I can give you an example after example after example of things that are happening today. Now, sometimes people will talk about these very elaborate examples. We have simple examples we're doing as well that have tremendous payback. We have a glass manufacturer in Brazil right now that they use Mendix, which is our low-code software development tool. Basically what it is, if you want to develop an app, You don't have to be a software developer necessarily. You can drag and drop things, and then you can generate the app based on this. We integrated that with AWS from Amazon to be able to use their AI capabilities. They knew nothing about our software or anything else. Within 2 weeks, they drag and drop, build a little application with some AI that allows them to have their customer engineers deal with their customers and issues that they found that were taking 5 days to resolve. That app took 5 days down to 1 day. 5 to 1, right? With a simple little change. They took an app that was solving problems, helping them solve problems on the factory floor. It was taking a day down to an hour. So if you can do those types of things, and that's just one app, there's many of those examples in a customer. That's immediate payback right now. And that's why I don't think it's overhyped. And that's not even counting the very elaborate things. What we showed the other day was, I want to do stress analysis on a part. That was always reserved for the PhD guys to do that. We're showing how we can bring it to the average user, and that can get very complex and very elaborate. Those things are still coming as well, right, in how you think about how you work. So I truly believe, at least as long as I've been in this industry, this will have much more impact than anything we've thought about over the last 20, 30 years.
I feel like we're entering the AI revolution right now.
I think so.
Yes.
And it's enabled by, look, some of these things aren't new. We were doing machine learning and some of these things before. The difference is the compute power. When you're doubling compute every year, every couple of years, and it just keeps growing exponentially, we're now getting to the point where you see this compute is so fast and so good. And by the way, that's today. Now let's roll it forward another 5, 6 years to think where we're going to be, right? And so I think people are kind of underestimating it at some point, what the compute power means to be able to do the things that you're talking about.
Yeah. Incredible. You are so knowledgeable. I feel so lucky and blessed to be able to sit down with you and share your knowledge to our viewers and audience. So thank you so much, Tony. I really, really appreciate you.
Thank you. And thanks for coming by our booth. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you a lot.
Thank you. During our conversation, we explored how AI is streamlining operations, reducing waste, and predicting maintenance issues before they happen. Siemens technology is helping manufacturers respond to real-time data, automate workflows, and improve decision-making, all while cutting costs. One of the most exciting capabilities is how industrial AI can immediately detect when a robot goes down, diagnose the issue, and provide solutions to prevent it from happening again. This level of insight allows factories to maintain continuous production and reduce costly downtime. One of the most exciting developments Siemens is working on is digital twin technology. By creating virtual models of physical assets, companies can simulate and optimize performance without costly downtime. This innovation is transforming how factories operate and how products are developed. This interview was eye-opening, and it reinforced how critical industrial AI will be for the future of manufacturing. Siemens is proving that innovation and efficiency can go hand in hand, shaping the factories of tomorrow. If you enjoyed this deep dive into industrial AI, make sure to subscribe and share this episode with anyone interested in the future of smart manufacturing. Stay tuned for more insights as we continue exploring how technology is making manufacturing fun, cool, and sexy. Also, if you or someone you know would like to be on the show, we would love to have them on. Just drop me an email or shoot me a DM on Instagram or LinkedIn. Details are below in the description. Let's keep inspiring more women and the next generation to see how fun, cool, and sexy manufacturing and technology can be. Until next time, keep on creating, keep on innovating, and always remember to keep it fun, cool, and sexy.